It's the Zach Sang Show. Zach Sang Show.
Zach Sang Show. Honored to say the following words. Lady Gaga is in the studio.
Thank you. That's so sweet. Okay.
No, this is, seriously, I mean, you're looking at 3 genuine music fans who have been doing this for a second and have been, I've admired you forever.
Thank you.
And just this weekend, I fielded 4 phone calls from my mom calling me to tell me how cool you are.
Hi, Mom.
You've done like a whole press tour recently, and my mom has gotten to know you, like a very new side that she's never seen before. I mean, she's watched from radio interview to radio interview, so she called me just to reassure me that you are one cool lady. So.
Oh, that's so nice. Thanks, Mom.
Joanne is the new record. It's out October 21st.
Yes.
How you feeling so far?
I feel great. Perfect Illusion's out now, the first single, and I loved making it with Mark Ronson and Kevin Parker from Tame Impala and Blood Pop, an amazing producer, musician who you know probably mostly from his production on Sorry with Justin Bieber.
Wow.
And he worked on the album too. So you know, it's amazing. I've been making jazz music with Tony, which has been awesome, and I've been acting, and I just really wanted to return to pop music and make a pop record.
And going
but my way, you know,
of course,
which is always a little
different
to the left and to the right, and then a weird dose of something.
But going into the studio to create pop music after working with Tony in jazz, which is so raw, it's so authentic, and there's no production. Do you know what I mean? There's no twisting of the dials. It's you and the music behind you. Do you reapproach?
Well, there is twisting of the dials. They're just different dials.
Yeah,
you know, you're twisting. You're twisting the same sorts of dials in different ways in terms of compressors and sounds and live instrumentation. You know, there is live instrumentation on this album. It's not all live instrumentation, though. A lot of, most actually, if not all, I think the samples that we used were taken from something live, though, that we created.
Cool.
You know, it's not, I never like to say that one type of music is completely different from another because they all come from, you know, the same place, which is, you know, people.
Yeah.
But with this album, I would say that it's more polished. It's a pop record. It's pop songs. It's things I love to make, love to write. Records that bring people together. You know, I love a beautiful, sweet melody with a strange message, and you know, an interesting chord progression that you know lands in a pop place. So I made the kind of record that, you know, I'm always looking to make, especially when I first started, you know, with the Fame and the Fame Monster. You know, I was always interested in making pop records that were a little bit different.
Yeah.
And always push the envelope, always push radio in a new direction, or just trying to break through a new sound.
And you really have. You've set the tone. I mean, even with Just Dance back then, you set the tone for musicians everywhere. You kind of set the bar really high.
Well, I just know there was nothing like it when it came out.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like that with every record that I do.
Of course.
You know, every album, it's a new sound, completely the record. And then always, you can never expect the single to sound, you know, like anything that you've heard before. That's always the idea is, you know, how do I make something that's, you know, not really maybe really relevant now.
And is that pressure for you?
I think it's freedom.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, for me, you know, trying harder and being different, those are things that should be rewarded. And it's always been my message, you know, to my fans. And so I keep that in my music. I always want to be trying to be ahead musically.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. The work with Mark, our friendship, our camaraderie, the work with, you know, Josh Homme on the record, our camaraderie, as well as Hillary Lindsay, who I'm going to perform with in Nashville this week.
Cool.
At a dive bar for Bud Light. We wanted to do something instead of playing. I've played a lot of arenas, a lot of stadiums. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But to do something big in a small place.
It's amazing.
That's what I want people to remember. That's what Joanne is about. That big things can happen in small places, And that things that are bigger than you are usually smaller. It's about family. It's about the world. It's about each other. It's not about looking out to find things. It's about looking in.
Is that what your aunt represented?
Yes, she's always been a soul guide for me and a grounding to remember, oh, okay, that's right. When my dad was 15, his sister died.
Yeah.
And he lost his best friend, and she never got to live the rest of her life. So you need to just get it together and keep rolling, because
roll with the punches.
Because that's a far way. My dad came from immigrant Italian family that came over through Ellis Island, had babies here, learned how to speak American, and then lost their daughter while my grandpa's a shoemaker and he's a veteran. I mean, it's a beautiful story, and I've taken it with me, but the way that I've taken it with me and the way that it lives on the album is, I keep saying to people, call me Joanne. And it's because, this space that I've put myself in is, okay, what would Joanne do if she was here? Well, she wouldn't be on her phone.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't be, not paying attention to what's going on in the room. She would be really engaged with everything around her because she never got to live the rest of her life. So I've been thinking a lot about that because, we're so wired, and that's not a, bad thing for everything. I think as a resource, the internet's great. You get to be social with your friends, your family, for me, with my fans. But it is important to remember the gravity of where we've come from, which is each other.
That was beautiful. It's the truth. Really the truth.
Each other doesn't, it's more of a perfect illusion what we're looking at through our cell phones than it is when we're here.
Face to face.
Yes.
Wow.
That was great.
Wow.
Love that.
But that's really that's not something that's just happens. That's acquired over time. That's a mindset that, right? I mean, you're not just like, you don't just like focus on the present and focus on everything around you without having to like snap yourself out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely am not like that all the time.
Yeah.
I catch myself on my phone. I catch myself working or staring into my computer too much, or being in the studio for too long, or focusing on work all day when I could be focusing on also other things. So the point of Joanne and my Joanne vibes in my life is to go, you know what, I'm gonna go have lunch with my sister, and I'm gonna call back my dad right away, and I'm not gonna break that meeting that I had or that dinner that I promised somebody just because I'm who I am and something bigger came up that I should go to. Nothing's bigger. It's all the same. It's all the same. All these things are the same.
I feel like you're going back to your roots. The Dive Bar Tour, I think, is, in my mind, the coolest thing that an artist has done in a very long time.
Thank you.
Because, I grew up in Manhattan, and I grew up going to the Bitter End, and you are synonymous with the Bitter End, right? I mean, you go to anybody, the guy who works as a ticket counter who's been there for decades, can tell you 1,000 stories.
Yes, and actually Mark's manager was working at Columbia Records.
Okay.
Or was it Columbia or Sony? Maybe it was, I don't remember exactly. I think Columbia was at Sony at the time.
Yeah.
He was working at Columbia, right? And then he saw me for the first time at the Bitter End when I was like 17 years old. And, it's just so kind of crazy. And my show then was very different. And then it changed even more when I was in my early 20s and became more of a performance and a variety show. So what we were talking about making this Bud Light tour is I kept arguing with everybody because they kept going, oh, but it's a dive bar show. And I kept going, why are you trying to tell me what a dive bar show is? Just because you've had a drink in a dive bar and you've seen one band play, or maybe you've seen a lot of bands play in dive bars. I can't imagine nowadays with as much that goes on in the music industry that there's a lot of like going out to see bands. I wish that there should be. Go out and see
more
bands. Go out and see bands, support music, support young artists. But there should be. And the reason that there should be is because I know that you know, because you live down there, right? That there are performers that on the smallest stage, it's like they're performing in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And what happens is when some of these artists, I think, come up through the channels where there is none of that artistic development on your own, then all of a sudden you've got, dancers and you've got props, and you've got all these things, right? And it's like you don't have to work as hard.
100%.
All that other stuff's going on, right? But just because I'm playing in a dive bar means that doesn't mean I'm going to walk in a t-shirt and just sit there at the piano and sing. We're going to do what I always did in dive bars after I became Lady Gaga, which is we're going to make a show. And I want people, like I said, to feel that big things can happen in small places and that it's important.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Why now? Why is it important in your life to go back to your roots today?
Well, anytime I'm making pop music, I have to think as deeply as possible.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to make records that bring people together all over the world. And it's not just because it's a hit. I mean, that's great when people like your song. But when you can create something, hopefully, that brings people closer in a different way, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that kid that listens to dance music to become friends with that kid that likes rock music and country music.
That's so cool.
That kid to become friends with somebody that's like super emo. And it's like, because I have
bringing it together.
Yeah, I have a lot of different types of fans that are into all different things, and our community is very not straight-laced.
No.
And it's not one type of music that they like. It's eclectic. So my thought was, well, why don't I can just expand that, because the truth is I was going more in a particular direction.
Yeah.
With my songwriting, and we started, and what that was is that I like on the Fame, I would probably say more than my other records, I just kind of have no regard for genre except for pop. And the idea is to take my knowledge of music from all genres and put them into something that is pop. So the album is pop, it's dance, it's rock, it's country, it's folk, it's funk, it's electronic, it's clubby, it's alternative. It's all. It's
wow.
It's all
everything.
That.
Everything.
It's soulful. It's soul.
And the goal really is to bring people together, and I think you can do that. I think.
Yeah, I really, really want like a girl that listens to country music who never thought she could like my records.
Yeah.
I want her crying. And her eyes out, because that, to me, it's not about I'm so excited she loves me.
Yeah.
It's more about her ability then to connect to someone else that's totally different from her, and vice versa. And that's what I've been thinking a lot about.
Okay, when you get into the mindset to think about exactly that, or to write a song, right? What is that process like? How do you get there?
Well, I had a vision in my head, and I went in, I went into the studio, and Mark and I, talk and work all day, and he was like, who's this record for? And I said, well, I just keep seeing this vision. And he said, okay, come on, let's give it to me. And I said, there's this girl, and she's maybe like 30s, maybe younger, maybe older. Mm-hmm. It doesn't actually really matter what her age is, but her hair's back, and she's got no makeup on, and it's in a bun, and it's kind of fuzzy, like she hasn't really done it. And she's wearing a Hanes sweatshirt that she got at a drugstore, and she has on some old jeans that are rolled up, and she has a kid in one hand and a glass of Pinot Grigio in the other, and then two other kids running around her. And some heirloom from necklaces from her aunt, and maybe like a couple earrings, some fake Tiffany's, nothing expensive, just what she has, And she's got her hands in the air and tears streaming down her face with that kid in her hand and that glass of wine, and she's just singing every word to my songs. And she's way in the back of the amphitheater in the cheap seats, and I'm speaking to her, and I had that vision every single day, and it wasn't until late in the recording process I started crying one day in the middle of listening to a song that I did called Grigio Girls. And I said, you know what? That girl's me. If I wasn't famous.
Wow.
That's who I would be. So then you go, oh, there's no difference between me and you. It's just it's a perfect illusion. It's my art. It's my hat. It's my glasses. It's my outfit. It's maybe something that you saw that felt like a character to you or that you couldn't get to me, right? But the truth is that, you know, when I go home and I erase the fame, I'm Joanne. And I'm able to just think about family, just think about friends, just think about the people that I love, and I'm in the same type of emotional pain as that girl. Yeah. I'm going through the same things that she's going through with men, with life, with my father, with my mother, with my sister, with you know, my relationship with alcohol, my dad's relationship with alcohol. You know, it's young people's relationship with partying, period, in America right now. That's definitely
crazy.
Part of the record. There's a song called Sinner's Prayer that I'm doing, and that song really reminds me of, I think, how we all kind of feel, because a lot of us were born in the 80s and we're all like, you know, there's just we're on a lot, you know, and there's a lot going on, and there's so much information flying at us, and it's kind of like discombobulating, and we have drinks and we party, and I don't know if some of us, for me, as I have like this Catholic guilt that I'm a sinner.
Every time. Me too.
Like, I'm a sinner because I need it, because I'm coping with what's happening in the world.
Are you still doing it? Are you still drinking?
Yeah, I still drink.
Yeah.
But the point of the song is I say, hear my sinner's prayer. I am what I am. And I don't want to break the heart of any other man but you.
Wow.
I like that.
Hear my sinner's prayer. It's the only one I know. It sure as hell don't rhyme, but it's as good as gold.
Nice.
Beautiful.
You know, so the record's about a lot of different things, but the center home of it is me as a person.
Yeah. Do you see, when you see that woman with the 2 kids and she's crying and I feel like you obviously it's you, 3 kids. Are there any qualities of her that you want to bring through to yourself today that you see that you might not have?
I have the same qualities as that girl.
Both of them.
She is me. That's what I'm saying. It's those women are superstars. Yes. They are so strong. What they go through, what they see, how they pick these men up off the floor and keep them going, and how these men in their lives, you know, they change who we are. Yeah. And it has such a profound effect on us forever. For women, when we're in relationships, it affects us through our life. Yeah. You know, whether it's our dad or our brother or our mother or our sister. And I'm not saying that's not the same with men, but for women, we wear our emotions so more heavily out there, you know, that for us, it's quite a thing that, you know, constantly, how do we keep everything out of a tornado, you know? And that's the thing, as I look at that girl and she's living in the same tornado that I'm living in. It just looks different.
Lady Gaga, Joanne, October 21st.
What's the song Million Voices about? I mean, Million Reasons. Yeah, because I saw you're going to perform that on the Dive Bar tour.
Million Reasons is a song about wanting to give up, but you don't. You're giving me a million reasons to let you go. You're giving me a million reasons to quit the show. You're giving me a million reasons. Give me a million reasons. Giving me a million reasons about a million reasons. I bow down to pray. I try to make the worst seem better. Lord, show me the way to cut through all his worn out leather. I've got 100 million reasons to walk away, but baby, I just need one good one to stay.
Wow. You need to feel. You need to become you need to become one with yourself to write those lyrics. Yeah. Where do you go? What do you do? How do they come to you, and where do they go from there?
They just come on out. You know, I was sitting with Hillary Lindsay. I remember we were in my house. I was at the piano, and she was sitting behind me. And I was just like, it's just like all the men in my life, I tell you, they give me a million reasons to take a hike. Yeah. And I just need one good one to stick around. I just need one. And she was like, that's a song. And I sat down and I started playing, and I remember singing it. I bow down to pray. I try to make, you know what, that's just what I do.
Yeah.
When I am having a bad day and I'm in pain, I bow down to pray and I try to make the worst seem better. It's that simple. It's I guess what you're saying about going deep, you just have to be able to look at yourself and really see who you are and be very self-aware, and that took some time.
That's hard. Because you can see things that you might not want to see, You see everything.
I see a lot that you see maybe things you don't want to see, but nobody takes care of you better than you do.
Yeah.
So you gotta look for yourself and take a peek under the hood. And if something's not right, it's better to say that it's not right and know that it's not right than just to leave it there, because trust me, it's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is like I feel like it's like wrestling a snake.
Okay. Okay.
And the snake is you, And if you ever let go of that snake for a second, it's going to strangle you. So you got to stay on top of yourself.
Wow.
I like that.
I think this is what I needed to hear that in my life.
It's like a therapy session for Zach.
No, I really need to hear that in my life. Because it's not something that, one, you don't hear that every day, and two, it's complete honesty, right?
Yeah.
If you're not in control of you,
the
one,
microscopic truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want everybody to tell that, in their lives. I want to tell that in my life every day as much as I can. On this album, I definitely told that.
It's therapeutic. It's nice.
Therapeutic, when I think of therapeutic, I think of a foot massage or relaxation. I wouldn't say that it's always therapeutic. I mean, it's hard for me to sing some of these songs. They're so deeply personal, and I've never really done that before.
Yeah.
I mean, in my records, I've been deeply personal, but not in the same way and not as often. On this record, the entire record exposes me as a real person. And on my previous records, it did as well, but it would expose one side of me. Like on Born This Way, it was more about the part of me that was bullied in high school.
Yeah.
And on the Fame, it was about the part of me that wasn't a star yet, that was sort of, revering in what it takes to become one. And it was, so much more plastic than what I thought it was going to be. The hard work and all of that was underneath the fame. But the concept of that album was that at the time, becoming famous was absurdity.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, the intersection with David Bowie also for me was always, absurdity and fame, and how that, I feel like modern society now and how you become popular is simply by being absurd.
But it's true. But you lose yourself in that process.
You can lose yourself in that process if you're not aware of your absurdity and that you're using it. I'm aware of my absurdity as my art form in a lot of ways, But for other people, maybe they don't know they're using it, or maybe they totally know. Like in the election, I think a lot of people totally know when they're using absurdity.
Yeah. It's scary now. Yeah. It's using absurdity to really
using absurdity for clickbait.
That's it. But also for power and mind manipulation.
It's clickbait. It becomes power and mind manipulation because our minds are attached to clickbait, right?
Yes.
But we wouldn't be attached to that person.
No.
Unless they were absurd and made us click.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Do you think some of the costumes you used to wear helped you become who you are today? Because people would see that and wonder what is she going to wear tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite art piece? Right? Like a favorite art piece that has gone on to become a pop culture history moment?
Well, it depends on what other people think of pop culture history moment.
What do you consider it to be?
I really love Goya, Return of Saturn. The Goya painting. It's a painting of an old decrepit creature eating the head of a baby.
All right.
Wow.
It's in the Louvre in Paris.
That's beautiful.
It's my favorite.
I was going to say I like your meat dress. That was my favorite.
Oh, well, are you talking about my art?
Yeah. But I mean, that's...
Well, that's one thing, too, because, I always called what I made art. And that was a thing. Well, that's always been a thing. Here she goes calling herself an artist.
That's
here
crap.
She goes. She thinks it's art.
It is art.
Art is what you can get away with.
Yeah.
Okay? And
great definition.
That was Andy Warhol's definition. And also being an artist is about perspective.
Yeah.
So the minute that I have no perspective, I'm not an artist. You can be a singing advertisement.
Yeah.
you know, or you can have a perspective.
That's it. Wow. That was a lot. And that was beautiful, man. Thank you.
I mean, I love music so much, and I can't thank you enough. And I love pop music. And, so, you know, for me, it's always a dogfight. You know, it's like I'm always coming in with guns blazing, going, okay, like this is the new shit. And it's always exciting, and it's a pleasure for me to talk with you.
But it's because you declare what's next, you declare what's new. It starts with you almost. You know, you set the tone for everybody else, I feel.
Everybody is supposed to do that.
You're right. I got to thank you.
And I don't mean other artists. I mean in our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should all listen to each other in that way. You know, what do you think is next? What do you think is next? You know? And then the radio is that wonderful place that since the beginning of, you know, music, when radio started,
funnels through.
You know, you hope that somebody cool walks over to a DJ and, it's not this way anymore. I wish it was. And they lean in and they go, I got the new Lady Gaga record.
Amazing.
It's in my pocket.
In my pocket.
Right? And everybody gets excited because it's like a gift.
Yeah.
You know?
It is. Dive Bar, you're going on tour this week. It starts. You're going to be Facebook Living all of it. As you go on tour and you plan it, are there security concerns? Are you a little worried? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, and when you move, it's very hard for you to just move on your own.
You know what? I'm at the same. I'm in the same boat with everybody else in this country. So let's all hold hands and do it together. There's no reason to be afraid. It's just life, you know. And there's a lot of countries around the world that is so much worse every day. And you know, like Aleppo.
Yeah, I know.
Syria, it's unbelievable. And you know, so yes, it's not a good time right now. But it's good to remember to be grateful during hard times.
Exactly.
And say, you know what, it's not good, but we're still here. And every moment that it's good, just smile that it's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just the fact that you can still go on and create art for people to come and witness and to be a part of. You're 100% right.
You got to try to care. It's hard to care about art when things are bad.
Yeah.
Because you go, who cares? You know, it's just art. But, you know, music and art and TV and movies and all of those things, they've been lifting people's hearts.
An escape.
Since the beginning, it's an illusion.
Yeah, all of it is illusion.
It's an illusion.
Do you wish celebrity and music didn't go hand in hand?
Yes.
You would take the world without the celebrity, because I know you would perform back at the bitter end, and you would be totally cool with it.
Yeah. Well, what I wish was that people could distinguish the difference between different types of celebrities and what we do. Because I don't sit in the mirror all day and stare at myself and put makeup on and, try to get noticed. Although that might be like, something people might think of me, you know. I play piano all day. I play guitar all day. I write songs all day. I stand in the mirror and dance and watch every move to work on in the show. I mean, it's just a different thing. And I guess what I want, the only reason I bring that up, and that's actually not to say anything bad about anyone in particular. I just think it's a general thing that's happening on the internet. That people want to get noticed for how they look, And
Instagram.
That the Instagram, right, it's a sea of perfect illusions.
Oh, God.
It's scary. Right? And then sometimes I see the people, in person, and you try to match them up to the Instagram, and it's like you're playing everybody. It's
not real.
And none of it.
Yeah.
None of it.
But what I'm trying to say is I want people to feel inspired by the notion that none of that matters.
Yeah.
And that what matters is not how long you took filtering that photo. What matters is how long you spent working on the thing that you're good at and your talent and what you're going to give to the world and to your brother and your neighbor. That's what's really important.
And that is the big message that you do pass on to the next generation of artists. And I've heard you say
it might not be popular. Like, young kids like to filter photos. And I'm not telling you, by the way, not to do that. 'Cause it's so fun, and I still do it, and I'm still going to do it. I'm just saying that it's not everything.
Yeah.
It's not all of it.
There needs to be art, and there needs to be passion behind it, and there needs to be a pulse, something that...
There always will be.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about art when I'm talking about that. I'm talking about life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just life. And I just, I just want young kids to know that, your Instagram's not going to get you a job.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
You might think that it is. But the way that it's going now, it's a toilet. It's too hard to find somebody talented between someone that isn't. You can see, if you put your work out there, it's one thing.
Yeah.
But, if it's all about, your look, I don't know. And that might sound weird coming from me, because people are going to be like, what are you talking about? You were all about your look, But I was always as much about my music as I was about my performance.
Yeah. But you always have been. You've always been driven by music. Do you know what I mean? You're a genuine musician as it gets.
And by both.
Yeah.
They're both important to me. Songwriting, singing, being a musician, playing instruments, as well as putting together a special show for the world. I mean, I love doing that more than anything. I mean, putting together the Dive Bar show has been so fun, because I looked at everyone, like I said, and I'm like, don't tell me how to play in a dive bar.
Yeah, right?
I said, you ever seen Franz Ferdinand up close? You ever see those guys move? Those guys are...
No.
It's out of control. It's like there's so much electricity flying off that stage. The fact that there's no props, that there's no this, that there's no that, none of it matters, because the work was done in rehearsal. And you can feel it, and you can smell the sweat of the hard work of musicians. And it's awesome. That's how I fell in love with music.
Wow. And you're going to go from a dive bar to putting together the show for the Super Bowl. I mean, can we talk about two different venues? I mean, universally different, but is it for you? That's the thing. I mean, you can approach it the same way.
You gotta play the dive bar like it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you gotta play the Super Bowl
like it's a dive bar. I've heard people, genuine musicians and genuine music managers say exactly that. There's people who genuinely believe that you can't really be a musician unless you've gotten beers thrown at you, performing at a bar, at an open mic night or something.
Well, you can be a musician no matter what. You could be a musician. Anyone can say and are legitimately one if you want to be. But I mean, having beer thrown at, I 100% had beer thrown at me. I had cups thrown at me. I've been shouted at. I've also been cheered for, and I've been rejected, and told, no, you can't even play here. And I'm like, this place, what are you kidding me? And this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And, I would call back and fake manager. And like, I'm calling for Lady Gaga. She's an incredible performer. She's very big right now with a lot of heat. And, it's like everyone's like, then all of a sudden you have a slot at 10 p.m. with 100 people there. And they're like, who are you? That you're not, they're like, and they don't really know.
Yeah.
So again, a perfect illusion. So it's like, it's like always, it's just about how you use them.
This has been one of the most incredible conversations I've ever had with somebody. We've been making radio for a little bit here, and I got to say thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for taking the time.
That's cool. Thank you.
Cool for me.
Cool for me too.
Joanne, October 21st, Perfect Illusion.
Have you started your Super Bowl preparations yet? Like, do you know what you're going to do?
Yeah. I was 4.
Wow.
So the whole show is done.
No, it's not. It's not done. But I know what I want to do.
Have you talked to any of the previous performers about what to expect or anything like that?
I'm friends with Bruno, and Mark did the Super Bowl. I'm also friends with Coldplay. I'm friends with B. I've hung out with and been with them after, so I know a little bit about what goes in and out. And it's not the first big stage I've ever been on. So I know what I'm doing out there. I just gotta keep it tight, everybody. Everything's got to be right, and we got to have all of the technical stuff perfect, and then boop, 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 boop. Lady Gaga, we're live in 5 seconds, and then I black out, and then it's over.
But that's how it works. Do you not, like, you just go? It just turns on. Do you notice anything? Do you remember things from a performance, really? Like,
not usually, no. Maybe a little thing here and there if it's an extra, like, because, every time you go deeper, something new's going to pop out.
That's it.
So, something's going to pop out while I'm there. Not something like that.
Not physically.
In Houston, especially. But, something creative's going to pop out. Because, the thing is, like, when you've got 80,000 people screaming all around you, and 100 million, 115 or 140, whatever it is, are watching,
Wow.
There's a change in the atmosphere. And that's actually, I would think, most of what the work goes into for me. I got to prepare myself to be so locked in so that when that adrenaline hits me,
you can do it.
I don't get thrown off my game. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, like it's second nature. You can do it with your eyes closed, literally.
Not like with my eyes closed.
Okay.
Because then I think it looks lazy. Because I'm just like, I can see you did it a million times.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. No.
Got to feel like the first time and the last. Got to feel like the first and the last, and it's got to feel full of energy and spontaneity, as well as great music, as well as show. It's got to be all of those things. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Is how do I do all of that?
Amazing.
In 12 minutes.
How long have you known about this? Because, I mean, we hear about like a week before you may be doing it, but I'm sure you know months in advance, or is it last minute for you too?
No, I've known for a little over a month, and we knew when we were wrapping up the album, so that was great. You know, we booked the Super Bowl based off of the album as well, which was amazing. You know, I had to go in and play them the record, and that was a wonderful moment for me too, to see a group of executives that, you know, you think might not be into, you know, Lady Gaga's music, and see them just, like I said, that girl in the field.
Yeah.
I saw her come to life, you know, and that's what I'm most excited about, is that the type of music that I've made is something that I think can and will bring people together. And at the Super Bowl, it really gives me a massive opportunity to bring so many different types of people together in one place. And, you know, the idea is to just make sure that you don't alienate anybody while you're doing that, that you keep them all, you know, you just keep everybody in the same place.
Lady Gaga. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. And I just got to tell you, on my mom's Christmas list this year, your dad's cookbook.
Oh, the Joanne Trattoria. My father was so funny. This is how I knew this was the perfect title for the album too, because, you know, the thing is if I was not me and I wasn't famous, but I was still a writer, and I didn't have a lot of money, and my family didn't have a lot of money, you know, I'd be living in a town somewhere or in a city, and I'd make my record and I would call it Joanne, because I would want to support my dad and his small business, you know? And it's so fun, because, you know, and that's something I said to my friends too about it. And it's so funny, because when I told my dad the title of the album, first he cried, and then he goes, "Oh my God, the restaurant business is going to be through the roof." It's so sweet, you know?
That's awesome.
Because that's how my dad is. It's like he doesn't stop. He's probably fixing a pipe right now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the image of me or my family like laying under a palm tree getting fanned
Never
by like shirtless guys is not what's going on at all for anyone.
Well, I mean, your dad like kind of let you go, right? When you wanted to be a rock star, he kind of cut you off a little bit, yeah?
He was excited for a while, and then he saw me, you know, do a performance at the Knitting Factory.
Okay.
A divey, you know, club. And I was in a leopard bikini, lighting hairspray on fire, dancing to Boys, 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 my song on the Fame. And I was also doing interstitials of Run to the Hills with a giant Native American headdress on. And I mean, it was really a show.
Yeah.
Like I said, in a dive bar, you know, we did a whole thing. There was a fog machine, and my father just thought I'd lost my mind. Which a lot of people's fathers, I think, thought when my record came out, was just, that girl's crazy. But you know, I'm just creative. I'm not crazy. I'm just creative.
What moment do you think it was for your dad that validated your success for him, or that it became real?
Honestly, it was really cool. I remember playing at Sebastian or Social in New York. It's a gay club in New York that I hadn't played yet, and I wanted to show my prospective manager at the time and the label, you know, what I was doing. Because, you know, the thing is once you get signed to a record label, it does not mean that they're going to focus on you or help you at all.
Never.
What it means is that you have a contract that you have to fulfill. And if you don't fulfill it, meaning they don't like the material that you give them, they drop the contract. That's it. It's like a job. It's a job. In a way.
Yeah. Oh, no, it is. I mean, you can get shelved. It's risky.
You get shelved. It's risky.
Yeah,
you know,
it's dirty.
It's actually harder to put your music out signed to a label than it is
independent.
on your own.
Exactly.
So
Social, your dad.
Social and my dad, right? So anyway, so I was trying to hype the label up about me because they loved my records, but they kept wanting to give them to other artists that, weren't me. And it was so frustrating.
And a little insulting.
Very insulting, but you have to try to think like they think, which is as a business. And when they're dealing with other artists that don't sing you're just dealing with a different time of music.
Exactly.
These artists don't sing and write their own records. It's about the look. It's not about the, artistry.
Yeah.
And so they just hear a hit record and go, give me that. I need that for my big thing that I'm working on that makes us a lot of money.
Whatever it costs.
So then I got to make them go, no, this thing over here, this will make you more money. I swear, and it will last longer. I promise you, because my talent will never break. I swear to you. And, I might get older. But I'll be like, I think I'm going to peak at 75, to be honest.
But you'll still have timeless records, man. Timeless, quality and class.
And I'll still have my voice.
That's
I'll
it.
still have the piano,
And that's all you need.
Yeah, and long gray hair and sleeve tattoos and a lot of wrinkles.
And that leopard bikini and the whole thing.
Leopard bikini. I'm totally dead serious, by the way. I'm not afraid of getting older.
Good.
That's
awesome.
You shouldn't be.
No,
You should embrace
it's so this thing where we all get to do it together.
Yeah. It's a journey. We're all in.
We're all in it together and we all get to do it. And why not embrace the fact that that's going to happen? And I just was thinking about it the other day. I was like, Dad, I'm going to be singing Poker Face, like with long gray hair and kind of wrinkles. And you won't be around to see it, but oh my God. And, but my father, but what I was saying about Social was that my father came to a show I did at that gay club.
Yeah.
And I was trying to show the record label, what my stuff, basically.
Yeah.
So I put together a really fabulous dive bar show, basically, in Social. And it was this really tiny stage, and I had a disco ball, and I made my outfit by hand, and I glued probably 800 tiny little mirrors. Ooh. Probably less than that, because I probably couldn't have afforded those tiny mirrors at the time. But it was a lot of mirrors on some American Apparel, panties that I cut, and and then I made a hat, and they saw the show, and it was all of the gay community in the neighborhood, because I was trying to tell them that I had fans, and they were like, yeah, okay, you have fans, whatever. And I started performing, and the whole room was singing every word to all these underground pop songs.
Wow.
And I was doing a pop show, but in a dive bar.
And with an audience that got you and knew you.
With an audience that knew me, that loved me, and that I was a part of for real, that scene. And it was so amazing. And my father, I remember he said, I just got hit on. He said, I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, except it was kind of flattering.
I'm sure.
He said, I just got hit on. He said, and I get it.
Yeah.
He said, okay, I get it. He said, I just saw that. That was beautiful. That was really something. And
wow.
That's Joanne, though.
Yes.
That's the fighter. That's the person that doesn't give up. And that's what I'm saying about that girl in the field. Just because she doesn't have mirrors on and she's not in a bar singing, it doesn't mean that we're not the same. Because we're both dogfighting to get through life. Life's a dogfight.
Are you gonna add more dates to the dive bar tour? If it gets, I'm sure it's gonna be successful. I'm sure tons of people are going to see that.
I don't know. I don't think so. Right now we have other things. I need to go to other countries and promote around the world. Maybe we'll do some over there. But I want to start doing some performances on TV and things like that. For us, it was more about the story that we wanted to tell with this album, and telling it the way we wanted, and knowing that the NFL and the Super Bowl was coming up. Perfect Illusion for us was the right moment and record. The NFL loves that record. I love watching the video intercut with the players, because you see me throw my body around just like they do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of velocity flying out of the screen, and that that passion and that rage, and it's awesome.
Lady Gaga, come on, everybody! This is amazing, Lady Gaga.
It was fun.
I do have to say one more thing. We were at a party together at somebody's house recently, and I was afraid to say hello.
Whose
That's
house?
not It was at a birthday party a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you were at for Samantha?
Samantha was there, but it was for a different party, and you came with Samantha, and everyone was talking to you. You were so friendly, and I was like, I can't do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just.
Well, are you gonna like fill us in? Like, whose party was it? You can't just do this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can't talk. It's like it's not right to talk about.
But I want because I know she's been saying she wants to go back to her roots and be in dive bars, and I was like, I see this girl at the party, and she's talking to everybody. I was like, I just can't say hello.
Really?
I was so afraid to.
It's so funny. I was like in the corner all night.
Yeah.
With 2 people.
Yeah, but you were talking, you were friendly, and I was just sitting there by myself. I was like, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I can't do it.
That's so cool that you didn't just name drop whose house that was.
That's not important.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's the way it should be.
Well,
Sounds
a cool guy.
That person's protected.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Lady Gaga, thanks for hanging out.
Nice guys.
Really, greatly
fun.
A
appreciated.
bunch of nice people.
We try.
Well, next time, don't be so afraid to talk to me. I'm really not hard to talk to.
Yeah, I
As
know.
long
I
as
learned
there's
that.
no
Obviously.
like, camera in my
Yeah,
face
just-
with like someone's like trying to Snapchat map my face.
Yeah, right?
While they're talking to me.
Putting a
I'm just
filter
like-
on you.
And they're like trying to make me the dog
Yeah.
while they're talking to me, and I'm just like, I just want to make songs.
do you use Snap? They were telling me this morning.
Well, yeah, she was wearing a different outfit. I was like, yeah, she's wearing some colorful jumpsuit today, and you walked in. I was like, she's not.
Because I had to wear something special for you.
Aw,
Yeah,
that's so sweet.
You know, I came in today and they criticized me on my outfit because I'm wearing blue and black and then brown shoes. How bad is it? Like, can you see it?
I have a pink hat on with everything I wear. I'm not the right person to ask about if it's bad.
I thought they said the same thing, and I thought you're the perfect person to ask because you just know, you breathe it, and on you.
She just wears whatever she wants and it's
Wear
comfortable.
whatever you want and
See?
feel good. And if someone says you don't look fashionable, what do they know? And are you even trying to look fashionable?
No.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No,
Exactly.
trying to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm the one who said it, and I'm wearing. See,
You're wearing a
look, here's what
flannel.
I know. You know. Thank you.
And I wear that too, by the way.
See?
I just wanted to come in here with an illusion.
Well, yeah, based on how you got here, which I heard was the coolest thing.
Okay, that's
ever.
not an illusion, though. That is my vehicle.
but that's
No, but you drove yourself here in the coolest car.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you drove yourself, which honestly we rarely ever see. But to be honest, like we see it with artists that are like you. Do you know what I mean? Like people who are so confident and they're accomplished and they don't need the SUV. They don't need all that nonsense. You
well,
know?
I mean, I have.
Well,
Yeah,
of
I'm just not
course.
going to. Well, let's not lie about it.
No, you have no. There's
I didn't like roll out of bed and like get into my Nova. I mean, I'd like you to imagine that. I did like roll over, put a cig out. Like I did do that, but there's a
no,
little
like,
more that goes into it.
You're not in the back of a Sprinter. You're doing it on your own. I mean, you're doing your own version.
There's a
of
Sprinter
you.
outside.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I use it if I need to,
Whatever you need.
hide from.
People with cameras.
Yeah, I mean,
dog
I
filter.
just have back. The thing is you got to be safe, right?
Yeah.
And I have things, but I like to have my freedom. So I get in my car and I'm like,
You ride.
I'm gonna go ride by myself. I'm gonna go ride alone.
You were learning how to drive recently, weren't you?
Yeah.
I saw like a red pickup truck.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. I mean,
my
really.
Ford Lightning.
Yeah. Like, do you have a car collection, like a tiny one?
Yeah,
What do you got?
I got a Ford Lightning. I've got a 71 Nova.
Cool.
Out front with
That's
a Corvette
rare.
engine in it.
Wow. Look
Mama.
at you.
And I have a El Camino,
Cool.
a black one that's amazing. I've got a slammed 65 Continental.
I have never. What I gotta Google that one. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's a Lincoln Continental.
Okay.
And it's just this really, it's like a boat mixed with a living room from the 60s. Wow. And it's white with maroon interior. And I can't barely take it anywhere. It's like a museum piece that it's just like not
watch.
meant to be driven. And a car geek would just be like, what are you doing leaving this car by the ocean? But she's just so pretty. And I take her out and it's nice. It's just a nice pastime for me. I'm
Yeah.
just not really, I've tried the fancy exotic car thing. I used to ride around in, something. I used to drive around something more like, modern and fancy and inexpensive. And I just don't really love it because I'm not a speed for speed person.
No
it's all
speed
about
demon.
feeling cool while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Like, so it's really, I'd rather a vintage car with maybe some new engines in it, so I can drive farther.
Do you like living in LA?
I don't live in LA.
Do you live anywhere?
Do you live anywhere?
I have a place in California, outside of LA, and I've got a place in New York.
Cool.
And yeah.
You got to be outside of the city. It feels nice.
Yeah, it's important for me. Yeah, it's really important. It's a good place to write songs and forget you're famous, and then become Joanne.
Lady Gaga, Joanne, October 21st. You really are amazing, dude. Thank you.
Thanks.